And today we have Caitlin Juvland.
Yes.
Did I say that right?
You did.
Okay, good.
Good job.
Caitlin.
Yeah.
Caitlin.
Yes.
I'm going to jump right into it.
Yeah.
What is a fun, random, interesting talent that you have that others may or may not know about?
I'm going to say two. The first one is the sound I can make.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I don't know how I do it.
I don't either. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Whoa.
I've never met anyone else who can do it.
That's really
Maybe
cool.
they're out there, but I don't know.
I have not attempted that, so
No.
and I
Yeah.
I like it.
dare
That's
not
really
try.
cool.
Yeah. And then the other one is I grew up racing BMX, like racing over dirt
Really?
jumps. Yeah, I won state 9 times.
Wow.
So it's like
Dang.
I don't really go around saying that, but I do enjoy that happened because like sometimes I'll hear somebody saying like, yeah, I went to state for this. And like people are like, oh, you went to state? And then I get to say to myself in my head, I won state 9 times.
You should say it out loud.
Occasionally, yeah. It's my
Yeah.
secret weapon. It's when you really want to like wow people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
State 9 times.
Almost a 10th time, but I threw it all away.
Yeah, you should be like, well,
Oh.
I remember my first time at state.
Yeah, that one was a fluke. I wasn't expecting that. I was 10, so I didn't really know what was going on.
Oh, I see.
So it was
Very
even.
impressive,
That's
though.
why it was even one of the best times winning it, just because I was so clueless as to what was going on.
It's just so
And then
exciting.
they're like, "Hey, guess what? You won." Oh, cool.
humble about it. It's cool.
Whatever. Is that the big trophy in your picture? One of your pictures you have on
Oh, yeah.
Facebook.
That's one of the times. That was when I
Oh, that
won
was only
state
one.
when I was 13. That was my favorite time winning state.
Okay. Which
Yeah,
which time
because-
was that of the times?
The third?
The third, I think that I was 13. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was the third time. Yep, it was. It was. Now I think about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Because I fractured my skull that season,
Huh.
like going into state that summer. So I didn't know if I could ride my bike. But then they were like, "Yeah, you're fine."
You're fine. You just fractured your skull.
Well, obviously,
You're okay.
I had to do others. You know, I
Keep
had
doing
to
it.
I had to heal and take tests.
Yeah.
But then a month later, they're like, "You get, yeah."
That's impressive. I broke my toe and I was afraid of the gym for like,
Oh.
how long has it been? Like 4 years? So that's impressive.
Yeah, but toes.
Fractured
There's
your
a lot
skull.
of things you can drop on your toes at gyms. I'd be scared too.
It's true. But there's a lot of ways you could fall on your head on a bike.
It's true.
Just ask Michael Scott
Yeah, or Caitlin Juvland.
or Caitlin Juvland.
That's how I fractured my skull. I wasn't even racing. I was just riding my bike home from school.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so racing's somehow safer than just riding.
Yeah,
your
don't
bike.
ride home from school with a lunchbox on your handlebars
Oh.
because it got caught in the wheel. and they
Goddamn
tipped
lunchboxes.
over.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oof. Well, I'm glad you're okay now.
Yeah.
And you still got to go to state.
Okay.
Oh, you're okay.
Oh, yeah.
In quotes there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. It was a good time.
Cool.
Nice.
The states, not the head injury.
Right.
Yeah.
And now you're here
Now I'm here.
with us.
Yeah.
So, Caitlin, you do film,
Mm-hmm.
directing, acting,
Sometimes editing.
sometimes editing. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And you're a comedian
Yes, I
of
am.
sorts.
Do you... question about that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a comedian. Do you like to focus in comedy in film, or do you like to do stand-up, or both?
All. Well, I like comedy. I've always loved comedy. But I don't know, film's interesting because I also write stories. I've always been a writer, and so I like my films. I just usually end up taking the stories I write and adapting them to film. And that stuff isn't, it just depends on what I want to write, I guess. But starting out, like making films at first, I really did just focus on comedy because I knew like my skill level. I was like, if I try to do like one of my serious stories that I've written just based off of my resources, it's not going to have the effect that I want it to, and it's going to be cheesy. So I kind of stuck to like strictly comedy, but now that I'm learning more, I'm like, okay, I'm getting excited too. So I foresee like in the future with films, it's going to be more whatever I think of.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many films have you written or adapted, directed, all of that so far?
Yeah. Yeah.
We can see it.
On your face, you were like, "This is a stupid."
A lot. Oh no. Yeah, I lost track. Kind of like when you win state all those times.
Yeah.
It's like
Which one?
which one?
How long have you been working in film?
Okay, my cousin and I, when we were 11, we made a film, but we never did anything with it because we didn't know how. We were 11.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been like, I guess you could call me exploring with the camera since a young age.
Nice.
Yeah. So I remember getting one of those like, can I say the S word?
Yes.
I got one of those shitty like flip cameras for Christmas when I was 12.
Oh yeah.
One of the best Christmases though, because I was using that thing all the time, and I didn't even realize like I was making weird video art with that camera, just doing weird things. Again, I didn't do anything with that footage because I didn't know how.
Right.
And I don't know where it is, but it's forever in my memory.
Nice.
And then I guess from there I just kind of evolved into learning about film. I didn't know that I wanted to make films until college.
Mm-hmm. Is that like, were you going for something else and then suddenly realized like this is actually what I want to be here
Absolutely.
for? And then did you transition, or did you say, nope, I'm don't want this anymore, and just left and made all the films?
Great question. I went to Gustavus Adolphus College in St. Peter, Minnesota. A lot of people are like, why'd you go there? Because if you're familiar, if they know like the area and then they know me, they're like, you don't really seem like you'd fit in there. Like, well, 17-year-old me, 18-year-old me thought that their cafeteria was awesome.
Yes.
And I thought at the time I wanted to be, this hurts me to say this, maybe theater.
Having a cathartic moment.
so-
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but I was wowed by the tour of, they do have a beautiful theater. It's modeled after the Guthrie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was just blown away. And then I compared to the other tours I did, and I was like, I'm just going to make it easy for myself and apply to this one school. So it was the only school I applied to, got in, got some scholarships, got a theater scholarship that I had to audition for. So I was really like, it's just going to be theater. And then I realized, no. But I thought, because I wrote plays, I wrote one in middle school and one in high school and then produced those. So I was like, I want to do like sketch writing or something. And I didn't know. I was like, I guess theater seems like the major I should go with. It doesn't seem right.
Right.
So then comes the involvement fair freshman year. I sign up on every single thing. So then I still get emails for like Christian orgs that I never said, hey, remove. Yeah. So then I discovered Gustavian Society of Filmmakers. And then I went, and they were just like this little small room, and it was these juniors and seniors, and I was like, is this Gustavian Society of Filmmakers? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, I got an email about your club, and so I showed up. They're like, well, come on in. And then I went to the meetings.
Was it like the size of this room that we're in?
Like kind of smaller.
Smaller?
Yeah.
Jeez.
How many people were in there?
Like 5 or 6. So I was very spooked.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Smaller than this room and more people.
yeah, and they were like juniors or upperclassmen. So I was like, oh my God.
Did they have like Doritos
scared
and Mountain
me.
Dew? No, I'm just kidding.
No. No, they should have.
Yeah.
But then one of the president, he'd asked me like, do you have any ideas? And I said, actually, you know what, I do. And so he said, well, write it, we'll help you make it. So then I did, and it's called All My Crayons, Kindergarten Soap Opera. It's about, it's a soap opera that takes place in kindergarten.
This makes me so happy already. I'm not gonna lie.
Good, thank you. And so I even sent out an email to the theater department, like a casting call, I guess, and directed it. I played the teacher. I had a very small role, but it was awesome because I got to like blow a whistle and be like, time out. Yeah. And it was very dramatic because it was a soap opera.
Right. Naturally.
Yeah. And then I think that happened in the spring, and then by the end of the like May, they were having some kind of like little film festival on campus. So like everyone who had made a film showed it, and I didn't know if they're gonna show mine. I was like, I'm nervous. I don't know if they're gonna show it. Mm-hmm. Well, I was in a 10-minute play because I was still thinking I was supposed to be on that acting train.
Yeah.
So I had to leave right before it got showed on the screen. And I didn't know because I was also taking a Film 101 class at the time. And my professor for that was there. Well, he saw my film, and then my friend described it because she still stayed there. And apparently after my film showed, he turned around because he was sitting in front of me and he thought I was still there. He turned around like, that was great. She's gone. So then I go to class the next day. He's like, hey, great film. You know, you can make a career out of screenwriting. And that's when the clouds parted. I said, fuck theater. And then became an English major because Gustavus didn't offer a film major. Yeah. They offered a film studies minor. And then I kind of just made it my own. Because by the time is a liberal arts education. So I filled out a lot of substitution forms just to make the English major into a film major. Mm-hmm. So instead of taking the last credit I needed to graduate, spring semester of senior year, was Brit Lit 2. And I talked to my advisor. I said, who was the professor who told me about screenwriting. I said, I really don't want to take Brit Lit 2. I'd rather take your class, global film, because this is my education and I don't want to read Shakespeare. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. Filled out the form. Got that class was awesome. Global film. But it had nothing to do with Brit Lit 2 at all.
That's okay.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I fell into film. Yeah. Fell into it.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel like that's how most people are. Like, yeah. I mean, some people kind of grow up thinking this is what I want. Mm-hmm. But like, I feel like there's a lot of people who we talk to who are like, well, it didn't really occur to me. And then all of a sudden it was there and I'm in love with it.
Yeah.
Like it finds you.
It does.
Yeah. We often say, how did you choose film? Oh, actually it chose me. Yeah. So you know that. Yeah. But that's interesting that it came through like a theater. You were pursuing theater, obviously, at the time.
Yeah. Well, that $2,000 scholarship a year seemed pretty sweet. Yeah. And I was a theater kid in high school, so I was like, done.
Natural transition.
But I ended up dropping it because, they're like, you just have to take one theater class, then you're good. So I was like, done. I'll take beginning acting. And then they changed the rules sophomore year, like you gotta take 2. So I took intermediate acting and got ripped apart because on the first day of class, and we're in this giant black box because it's a theater class, and the professors makes us like say why we're there. And this dude before me is like, I'm here to expand my toolbox of acting skills. And then it got to me, and I was like, I'm here to keep a scholarship. And the professor said, that's not good. Uh-oh. And that whole class was just going in one-on-one with him and performing a monologue. So I practiced because I was like, I got to get a good grade so I can keep my scholarship. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I practiced, but every time he made me feel like I didn't.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah.
But
But here you are.
Here I am, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're into filmmaking now and living in the Twin Cities. Mm-hmm. What made you decide to pursue filmmaking here versus maybe going into a bigger market?
That also just kind of fell into that as well. Mm-hmm. Because I just graduated this past June. Didn't have anything lined up. Was at home in Faribault, living in my parents' house. Mm-hmm. And that the plan there was just like, if I don't find anything, I'll just go to more school. And so then I started thinking about what I even wanted to go to grad school for. I could go for more creative writing, or I could go for film production. Even for a while, I was like, maybe I'll get my PhD in film studies. But I was like, that's no.
I've thought about that before.
I was like, that'd be so much fun.
Of film,
right. But only if I had about like 5 more lifetimes.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Oh, yeah. So then my friend had actually said, like, hey, I got a friend who's looking for a third roommate in St. Paul, and she sent me the rent. I was like, you know what? I can actually afford that. So I quit my job at Applebee's. I was a host just for a month. And then I also had to fry a lot of cheese curds at county fairs to afford to move here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very character building. Yeah. And then I worked at a bakery here or in St. Paul, and then met a businesswoman, and now she lets me work at her marketing office.
Whoa.
But meanwhile, yeah. So that's nice.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, a friend had told me about Scream It Off Screen.
Yes.
And so I was like, cool. I'll just start submitting stuff there, and then through there, I was like, holy crap, I did not know. Or, I mean, I knew that there'd be filmmakers in the area, but
right.
I just didn't even know how to tap into it or how exciting it would be once I did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I fell into that as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a good spot to fall into it.
Yeah.
When did you start submitting to Scream It Off Screen? Like when?
I think it was September.
September was the first one?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you continuously submit? Or?
Yeah. September. Well, yeah. You know what comes after September. September, October, November, December.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
This month?
And
January.
Yeah. And then in January you won.
Yeah. Yes.
The grand prize. So.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I cried.
Awesome.
And what was it for?
Pubic hair on my vagina, which is actually a comedic monologue.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I actually wrote it as a stand-up act, and then I performed it for my friend, and she was like, nice monologue. And I actually did perform it at a couple open mics. It bombed every time.
Really?
Yeah. It just didn't work because it's not a stand-up set.
Right.
And then I also realized it's really not a comedic monologue. It's a dramatic monologue, but it's so dramatic that it's funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sometimes that's the best kind of comedy, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it?
What's it?
Like, tell us about it.
Yeah. Well, I can feed you the first line. It's like, every night I lie in bed, I put my hand down my pants, and I run it over my full bush, and I ponder, do I love it, or do I want it gone? Because it's dramatic. So then I threw the bed sheets aside, ugh. So yeah. Well, because it is a real. I mean, I don't know what I'm supposed to do down there because of society.
Don't listen to society.
No.
Do what you want, man.
Yeah, I do.
With everything. With your films. With all of it.
I do what I want down there and everything, but it's still like, a lot of people haven't caught on that I do what I want. So that film was kind of me saying like, hey, I think this is kind of dumb how so many people are trying to get up in this business and be like, you should wax it, or what do you got going on down there, like Brazil, like a airplane. I just remember this one guy one time, he was texting me I was young, so I was still learning all that lingo, and I think he said like
the digital lingo.
Yeah, he was like, so is it what you got going on down there. Is it Brazilian wax or
Oh, no.
I mean, I was remembering like having to Google different, I guess, hairstyles for your vagina.
Hairstyles down there, right?
Yeah, hairstyles for down there. Just really, I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that big of a deal, but yet it's a trending topic.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what inspired
in general.
Yeah, but that's what inspired that monologue.
Mm-hmm. Have you also participated in like some of the other like film competitions and stuff like around here, like Z-Fest or 48 or anything like that?
I have not yet. I looked into Z-Fest because I have a sequel planned to Pubic Hair on My Vagina called Boobs on My Body. Another comedic monologue. I'm sure you can't guess. But it wasn't I only had the ideas up in my head. I hadn't written it, and I just had finished writing it this past weekend and had heard about Z-Fest. So I went and looked at it. I was like, missed the deadlines. But I don't know. That's okay because I don't want to rush it.
Right.
But
the 50/50 is coming
up.
up.
The 50. Okay.
There you go.
That's next.
Yeah, it is kind of fun because I'm actually clueless. I have no idea about it all, but it's exciting because it just means I have more to learn.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. There's so much. It definitely takes time, but it's all very fun.
Yeah.
Tell us about your experience. Is it the Parkway Theater? Is that or what?
Where Screaming Off Screen is?
Yeah.
Yes, the Parkway Theater.
Tell us about your experience there. What goes on there?
Oh man. Okay, well, I don't. This is what came to mind when you asked that question. The first time I was there, and the first competition, my film got screamed off screen, which wasn't as traumatizing as I thought it would be.
Okay,
it got screamed off, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom now because I gotta pee, and the toilet overflow. I didn't plug it. I was just going to the bathroom, and then I started thinking about something else and didn't realize this toilet was clogged, so I flushed it again, and then the water overflowed. So I was like, oh, I should definitely go to the bar and tell them that their toilet's overflowing. And so then I'm at the bar trying to tell them that the toilet's overflowing, but then people stopped me and started talking to me about my film, and I was like, the fuck? This is cool. People are talking to me. So I like the Parkway Theater because it's been a really, I guess it's been a meeting space for me to meet other filmmakers, but also fans, to generate fans, which was really, I think, important for me because this summer when I was just making videos for YouTube, just random stuff, and I could kind of tell oh my gosh, I wonder what my parents think of me. I just graduated college. I'm working at Applebee's, and I am spending a lot of time in my room YouTubing. So I'm like, oh, maybe I am not on the right. Maybe this is not I knew at the time this is worth it. I should be doing it, but I was in a small town where I don't think a whole lot of people were YouTubing in that town or taking it as seriously. Because I was telling people too, oh, I'm YouTubing, and they took that as oh, you're vlogging or stuff, and I was like, no, and nothing against vlogging, but I was using it as I'm putting a lot of thought. I'm trying to apply what I learned with my film studies minor to my films. And so it was actually, I think, a huge payoff once I started going to Parkway to see that people did appreciate what I was doing. Because I think before that, I was like, what if this is just really stupid and what I'm doing is just dumb? And it's not.
That's the filmmaker's life. Yeah. It's lonely as a director. I mean, when you have your film and you put it online, it's maybe you'll get a few views, Right. But unless you're putting money into ads and, stuff like that. But So you were originally YouTubing, and then like you were making just content, right? Just
kind of. I mean, because at first I thought it was vlogging, but it's not vlogging. It was just I just have a random idea. Like one time I did a bogus tutorial to how to perform a proper monologue. Because a friend and I, we would hang out all the time in the woods, and we would just give each other a prompt to go off and do a monologue.
Nice.
And so, but it was fun because with that like specific video I made, I was trying to copy other cheesy tutorial videos I've seen on YouTube. So I guess like with my videos, I was just trying stuff.
Yeah, how-to is big on YouTube, though.
Yeah, which I think it's so funny.
It's just another way to Google, basically.
Yeah, I just wanted to try my hand at it.
Yeah. Are there other filmmakers, whether locally or just, Hollywood filmmakers, something like that you find really inspire you in your style or like what you hope to be?
Yes.
As a filmmaker?
I never say his name because I get scared I'll say it wrong, but it's not hard to say. But it probably he made he made Parasite, Snowpiercer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Him.
Nice.
What about it? Now okay. The storyline. I love his writing, but I also and the cinematography is beautiful. But I remember watching Parasite in the theaters, and there's let me think what I'm trying to say. Oh yeah, he just, you can tell that he is in control of like every decision he makes, and it all comes back together. I don't want to give any spoilers for Parasite.
Right.
But there was like this one scene where he really let the suspense build up. The family had kind of taken over the house, and they're chatting, having fun, and I was just waiting for the other shoe to drop, foot to drop, whatever that saying is. Yeah. Well, and then also that film in general, like it was a thriller, but it started out as a comedy.
Yep.
And the way it took a turn was just he just does such a good job playing with that stuff. And so I like looking to him when trying to think what makes a good story. Yeah.
Do you have any comedians that you look up to specifically?
Yeah, that's every time someone asks me that too, I think I make people upset that I don't really follow comedy, stand-up comedy.
Sure.
I guess that was another thing I fell into because I had done improv before stand-up. And the biggest problem in my improv classes was like I would just say really bizarre things that the art teacher would have to stop the scene a lot to be like, Caitlin, you poisoned this person again, or Caitlin, that just doesn't what? And so I had
How dare you?
Yeah, and I had to be like trained a little bit, like harness that because improv is working with other people. I had to learn, not to let's steal the show and make it about me. So then I was like, well, sometimes though I still feel like the dumb stuff I says or say that stopped the scene in improv, I still hold on to that though. I think that what I said was funny. And I love holding microphones and talking into microphones. So I tried stand up. I actually took a class before I performed it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Here in the cities?
Chanhassen Dinner Theater.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really? Stevie Ray's Comedy Cabaret. Because I had driven to my junior year of college, went to the joke joint, but I didn't go inside. I was just in the parking lot, and then I got stressed out and started crying in my car. And I told myself, like, you made it this far. You can come back another time. And then I remember seeing a post like on the Twin Cities Comedy Facebook page about that class. And yes, it was $150, but I thought, you know, I really want to do this. And if I invest $150 in it, I will not cry in my car and then leave.
Right.
I'll get out of my car and I will go in there because I spent $150.
Right.
And honestly, it was great. It was just like a 4-week class. We just met once a week. And then we got to have a showcase at the end for family and friends. And I talked about, I have an extra long colon. So that was what my set was about.
Okay.
But I'm glad I took the class because I think it did help me avoid making a lot of rookie mistakes. Of course, I still made rookie mistakes when I first started. I would sit on stools a lot. If you do stand-up comedy, don't sit down. I mean, I would still love to sit down, but it's stand-up comedy. It's a note that I got. It's a note that people continue to get forever.
That's funny. I always wonder that whenever I'm watching stand-up on like Netflix. I'm like, you seem tired. Why don't you sit down? And they'll sit down and they'll immediately stand back up. And I'm like, but why though?
Because they got drilled into them, I bet. Don't sit down.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, but
It's kind of like a prop piece or a setting sort of.
Yeah.
It's not really furniture in that setting because you're.
I know. I mean, I've had some sets where I've like have purposely fallen off the stool.
Yeah.
But
how'd that go?
Oh.
It was fun.
Yeah.
They weren't expecting it.
Yeah.
I've done some really weird stuff on stage because I have gone to open mics. I went to this one open mic where like nobody listens to you. So one time I had brought my Bluetooth speaker. It was actually this summer. It was on my birthday. I turned 23 and I said, finally old enough to audition at the strip club. And I turned on my Bluetooth speaker and started playing like this Punk Goes Pop version of a Bruno Mars song. Oh, That's What I Like. So it's this song. It's like, that's what I like. That's what I like. And I'm just doing some weird dancing stuff and jumping off the stage, and people like they'll go out on the patio, they're smoking cigarettes, and then they look inside and they see this girl jumping off the stage and dancing. And so I did a lot of weird stuff to kind of get attention so that people are like, oh yeah, there's that girl, she's gonna do something weird, I'm gonna watch her set.
Nice.
Yeah, you gotta stand out.
Yeah, you gotta stand out and stand up.
So what plans do you have going forward for film? Like, what are your like next hopes and goals?
Yeah, I don't really know. I know, but I don't know. 'Cause I love learning. I love school. So I was like, that would be the dream to go for film production, and not because I think it would make me famous or give me a job. I just think it would be fun, and I miss I guess like the constant feedback that I had in college and like having the feedback and learning and having an advisor, and I was thinking, you know, Australia would be cool because I don't understand their humor at all.
Australia is the most amazing place in the entire world.
But then, you know, I don't know if I should try to go there now.
You should absolutely try. Why not?
Well, I don't know if I should I mean, I would love to go there, but I don't know if I'll go to school there. I don't know if I'm going to go to school for film production now. Right. Now that I wasn't expecting it. I really had made it in my head, you know, it's going to be a long time before I finally meet people who want to make films and stuff. I mean, I was in a really small environment beforehand, and I was my only crew member. Because I also wanted to go to grad school for creative writing. Right. I thought, what if I went to grad school, got my master's in film production, and then got my master's in creative writing, and then I could make the joke like 2 masters equals an unofficial PhD. But, you know, I don't know. Yeah. I'm sure I'll end up going to school again. But it also has been nice getting real world experience now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like way more fun than I thought it would be.
And this is a great community to get that experience
yeah,
too.
It is. And it's nowadays with the power of the internet, it's almost made film school more irrelevant.
Right.
Just because there was kind of a gate before where now everything's more democratized in like cameras and gear and even computer software, just everything. And then learning it through like YouTubes, your Udemy's, your all those things is just like it's so much more accessible. Like when I went to film school, I had to be on a wait list. So it was like,
oh my gosh.
Nope.
Back in my day.
Good luck next semester.
Yeah.
If you want to touch 16 millimeter, you got to go through us. So.
Oh man.
Because I remember I had to like buy my negative film from Fuji or Kodak, and it was like I chose Fuji, and I actually went to LA to buy it and then ship it back myself. So it was just like, because I happened to be there at the time, and I wanted to see, okay, where is this place where they sell the good stuff? Like the Hollywood stuff. I want the good stuff.
The good stuff.
Do you think you could see yourself ever wanting to go out to LA or New York to work?
No.
No?
I mean, not to live there permanently.
Really?
I obviously, like, if an opportunity arose to go work there, I would say yes. 1,000 times yes. But why do I not? I've been to New York. There's really just a lot of people there. Went to LA when I was 7, so I don't really, remember it as much. But I just feel like I don't want to be around like a bunch of people. Also, I don't really align with Hollywood films.
Okay.
No. Okay, what am I saying?
Not like the cookie cutter films, like your.
Yes. When I took my film theory class, that's when we like would just like study different genres. That's when I kind of started being aware of when someone's making a movie to make money, to make profit, versus to make something meaningful.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of why I don't really want to go to Hollywood.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a specific genre that you haven't worked in or dabbled in that you think
there's a lot
would be like you would really love to try?
Yeah, I've got a list. Okay, so I want to make a film noir about Cocker Spaniels. It's going to end up being a comedy noir. Like, I'm not going to write it as a comedy, but because it's Cocker Spaniels. It'll probably, like, Cocker Spaniels in trench coats and crime.
Like Scruff McGruff.
Yeah.
Chicago, Illinois, 65652. Sorry.
Wow.
You
can't say it and not finish it.
And also, so that's the animal genre too, I guess. Is that a genre? But a dog comedy. Yeah. It's a hybrid. I'm going to make a porno one day. I'm going to probably direct a couple. So fun fact about that is I haven't actually watched porn. I've read about porn. I've studied it. Porn can be considered a body genre because if it done well, it elicits a bodily response from the audience. And I was thinking like, what if I made a porno? What my idea of a porno is. So that's why I'm not gonna watch porn until I make one, and then I will watch porn, and then I'll maybe make another one in response to it. So that's I want to make a teen film. One of my favorite presentations I ever had to give was on teen film Secret Admirer. It came out in 1985, and it Lori Loughlin's in it. C. Thomas Howell.
Aunt Becky.
Yeah, Aunt Becky from Full House, or
yeah.
And that really calls back to Hollywood just cranking stuff out for money, because I learned in the 1980s, like when the mall came out, that's when movie theaters came, and then teenagers started hanging out at them, and they liked spending their money on yeah. So then Hollywood's like, ooh, this is our target audience. Let's just make stuff for them.
Yeah.
This film is horrible. However, I watched it when I was like 17 and thought it was great. And then I watched it again when I was 19, and I was like, what the and then watched it again when I was 22, and it was so funny. It was such a cheesy 1980s film, but like even the music was so obvious. The opening song is like, my secret's no secret anymore, and before that though is this really like cheesy scene of a woman's hand like writing the letter, like so okay, yeah, I should say.
What film is this?
Secret Admirer. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, let me give the plot. I forgot. You guys don't know the plot. Yeah, so Lori Loughlin's character is super in love with what's his face, Thomas Howell. And so she writes him a letter saying like, I love you so much. I can't even tell you how much I love you. And it's like borderline smut, but not. And then she slips it into his locker, and then he thinks the letter is from the girl that he has a crush on, who is Lori Loughlin's best friend. And so he's like, I gotta write a letter back to her. So then he writes one, and he's like, will you give it to her, to Lori? And she's like, yeah. Oh, her name's Tony. Yeah. So then Tony takes the letter, and then like she reads it. She's like, this is garbage. So she writes another letter and gives it to her friend, and her friend's like, oh my, I have to meet whoever wrote this letter, because apparently the letter is just so good. And then hijinks ensue and blah blah blah, and then like the letter even gets mixed up between like the parents, so then the parents start having an affair because like this letter is apparently so strong that it like oh, not even my husband speaks to me like that.
It sounds like an 80s movie.
Yeah, and then they all feel really stupid when they found out
a
16-year-old wrote
Becky's
the letter.
Just duping them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was funny watching it again when I was older, because then I paused it and read the letter, because I had also gotten an education in creative writing, and I was like, dude, this letter sucks. No, but that film it's so fun to hate.
Okay, gotcha. And
it was really fun to present. Like yeah, because I had to show some clips. So I showed 3 clips, and I was showing the last clip in class, and I had accidentally forward a little too far, and so this Thomas Howell, he's about to like jump off into the ocean, because Tony's going to go study abroad for a year on a little tiny boat. And he finally realized, he's in love with Tony. She's in love with him. He's got to stop her before she leaves. And he stole a really fancy car to drive there too, of course.
Naturally.
Just jump in any car.
Yeah.
On the lot.
Exactly.
And just.
That's what the message we're showing to our children, to our teens.
That go to malls.
Yeah, that go to malls in the 1980s. But when I had accidentally skipped that important part, everybody in the class screamed, "No, you have to go back." So it was amazing how to see that everybody got drawn and sucked into this film the same way I did.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You do that.
Yeah.
Well, Caitlin, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I've got a couple of last minute questions for you.
Yes.
One, what do you want people to remember you by when they work with you or see your films?
Okay, give me a second. Can you repeat the question?
What do you want to be remembered by?
A couple things, I think.
Okay.
My timing.
Mm-hmm.
My dramatic flair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I want them to remember the weird shit I do when the camera's not rolling. That.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those 3 things.
Okay.
My timing, dramatic flair, weird things I do and say.
That's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
On and off camera.
All inclusive.
All inclusive.
What is next for you? That's my second question.
Next is I'm working on 2 projects.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, boobs on my body.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta bring that to life. But then for Screaming Off Screen, as if I get past the lottery process.
I know.
Yeah.
I need to figure that out. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. That is a bunch of found footage. Well, okay, so this summer I just would set up my phone at open mics and record to help me get better. And so now I'm piecing all that together from like my Tight 5, my stand-up set. So it's like a bunch of it jumps a lot, like, but I'm trying to make it all into one cohesive set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. And the last question. If anyone listening wants to reach out to you and potentially work with you or meet up and have a podcast or anything, or check out your films, how can they get a hold of you?
Yes. You can find me on YouTube, of course. Caitlin Juvland. I've made a playlist that says like my career highlights or something. So if you want to see my evolution of a filmmaker or as a filmmaker, there's that. Let me drop my email. I actually have a creative writing services company called Caitlin Creative Writing Services. Let me pull out my business card.
Okay.
I just started it.
Yeah.
So, we're working out the presentation kinks so that potential clients see the confidence and the boldness and oh yeah, this girl knows what she's talking about. She doesn't have to pull out her wallet and dig around. Well,
as she pulls out her wallet,
it's like a new. I use Gmail, but for this email, I had to use Outlook, and it's a pain in the butt.
Oh.
Okay. My email is cj@caitland.com.
Is Caitland with a C or a K?
With a C. It's spelled Caitland. It's a combination of my first and last name.
Right.
Yeah.
And actually, I realized I have a way better answer to what I want people to remember me by if they work with me is actually, obviously remember my comedic timing, my dramatic flair, and the weird things I do and say on and off camera. But also, what you should really remember me by is that I really just try to make good stuff with what I have.
Yeah.
I've had an iPhone 7 and a Canon Rebel T6i. But it's been fun learning how to utilize that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time today to come and talk with us and be on the podcast. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you. It was fun.
And for Film in Minnesota, again, I'm Alan.
I'm still Rahana.
See you guys next time.